On this week's Rambler Sports Locker, both the men's and women's basketball teams wrapped up their seasons.
Also, Dylan Conover and his Ramble analyst discussed the signing of Mike Glennon to the Chicago Bears.
Welcome back to another edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Patricia Martinez.
And I'm Haley Spittler. The men's basketball team ended their season on Friday, March 3rd, when they were eliminated from the Arch Madness tournament. The Ramblers lost to the SIU Salukis 55-50 on day 2 of the conference tournament. The loss ended the Ramblers' season. In the end, Wichita State took home the title of MVC Conference Champions. RSL covered the tournament in whole. For game recaps and analysis, check out our YouTube channel for all things Arch Madness. There's so much more than just basketball at Arch Madness. RSL reporter Kelsey Frew got the chance to speak with MVC MC Todd Thomas at Arch Madness.
I'm Kelsey Frew, and I'm here at Ballpark Village before day 3 of the MVC tournament. We had the opportunity to talk to MVC host Todd Thomas, who really brings the energy to all the games.
I love the energy that each team brings every game, and so one year it might be Wichita State University, one year it might be Illinois State University. There's always a team that brings the most fans, but every game is different, and they're there, they're excited. Every call is crucial, and it's the excitement of the game is there. It's really cool. For 21 years, this will be my 21st season. I'm the in-game MC for the St. Louis Cardinals. So imagine 40,000 people at Busch Stadium. You got to keep them engaged. It's the same thing at Scottrade Center. And so, is this exciting? You ready? Hey, everybody. Are you having fun today? Is your team going to win? Or, hey, everybody, is your team going to win today? Make some noise, okay? Which is more exciting, right? It's got to come. You have to feel it, and then it's contagious. That's what happens. What I would love is that Loyola is recently in the Missouri Valley Conference, and I have yet to see them play on Sunday. So I'm telling you, if you're watching this right now, and you're any part of Loyola Nation, get your butt up and start going to the games. Start getting some talent out there and start winning. And I want to see you playing here on Sunday at Arch Madness. Let's do it, Loyola.
You heard it from the man himself, Loyola. It's time to get to one of those championship games. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Kelsey Frew.
Thanks, Kelsey. Heading into the MVC tournament with first-year head coach Kate Octor, the women's basketball team, comprised of relatively all new players, had gone 2-28 overall and 1-17 in the conference play. The Ramblers went to the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament in Moline, Illinois on March 9th. RSL reporter Trisha McCauley has a recap of how they performed.
After a tough season for the Loyola women's basketball team, the Ramblers entered the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament as the 10th seed and were quickly eliminated. In the opening round, Loyola took on 7th seed Bradley University, and just like the regular season, the Ramblers were not able to do enough. Loyola went down by 10 at the half, but came out strong in the second half, bringing the score within single digits, but then quickly fell apart. Heading into the fourth quarter, the Ramblers were trailing 43-28, and they just couldn't catch up from there, and Loyola fell to Bradley 57-42. Bradley senior Letty Lerma recorded her MVC 12th double-double with 14 points and 14 rebounds, leading the Braves to victory. Loyola first-year guard Tierra Wallace had a career-high 19 points with 6 assists and 5 rebounds. The Ramblers were eliminated from competition while the Braves advanced to the quarterfinals against UNI. Number 2 seed UNI competed against number 1 seed Drake University in the championship game, but lost to the Bulldogs 74-69 in overtime.
Thanks, Trisha. Regional conferences are all coming to a close. The prestigious NCAA tournament March Madness begins.
The first round of March Madness kicked off today, and RSL reporter Jasmine Marcos is here to tell us what's trending in regards to the tournament. Jasmine?
Thanks, Haley and Patricia. March Madness, one of the most anticipated sporting events of the year, is finally upon us. The 79th edition of the NCAA tournament will see 68 college basketball teams competing for the coveted title of being named national champions. It's the last-second baskets to the anxiety of not knowing whether a team will win to play another day or lose and go home that sends everyone into a frenzy. The hype started this past weekend with Selection Sunday. As brackets and seeds were released, teams, fans, and news outlets were quick to share their excitement on Twitter using the hashtag March Madness. Teams expressed their excitement to play while at the same time hyping up their fan base for the big event. Villanova, the most popular pick to win this year, tweeted videos of fans giving them a huge send-off, while Kansas, another team that's highly predicted to make it to the Final Four, made sure to remind their followers of their first tip-off time. Some took time to tweet their predictions and even posted pictures of their brackets, while others simply shared their love and enthusiasm for the competition. The tournament officially kicked off March 16, and the euphoria surrounding it will surely grow as we draw closer to the final, which is set for April 3rd. As we wait to find out who will be crowned national champions, be sure to check out hashtag March Madness for yourself to keep up with all the action and buzz. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Jasmine Marcos. Back to you.
The men's volleyball team has been busy the last 3 weeks. On February 24th, the men's volleyball team lost against Lewis University, losing 3-2. The next week, on March 2nd, senior Cole Murray helped lead the Ramblers past Quincy University, winning 3-1. 2 days later, on March 4th, the Ramblers lost 3-1. Despite the loss, Rambler Ben Placid set a record team high with 11 kills. Loyola defeated the California State Northridge on March 10th, winning 3-2. In addition to Loyola's victory that night, Cole Murray recorded his career best with 14 kills. Last Saturday, the Ramblers lost all 3 sets against Long Beach State. Tonight, the Ramblers will face Ohio State in the Gentile Arena.
The softball team competed in the EMU Madeira Beach Invitational during the last weekend in February. The Ramblers had an impressive performance during the Invitational, going undefeated in all 5 games played. The women defeated Brown University and Georgetown University on February 24th. On February 25th, they picked up 2 more wins against Manhattan College and Harvard University. They ended the weekend with a win against Albany University, which was their 10th straight win. The following weekend, play continued for the Ramblers in Alabama. On March 4th, the women picked up wins against North Carolina A&T and Alabama State. The next day, they defeated both teams again, improving their win record to 14 straight games. The women played the University of Alabama on March 7th, losing 5-0. This was the first loss of the 2017 season for the Ramblers. Last Thursday, the women headed to Oxford, Alabama to compete in the Leon Smith Classic. During the first day of the Classic, Loyola lost to Southeast Missouri State 2-0. They lost again on Friday to Belmont University, but finished the day with a win against Jacksonville State. On Saturday, the last day of the Classic, the Ramblers lost to Tennessee State after 12 innings, but came back strong in the afternoon to shut out Eastern Illinois. The softball team is now 16-4 this season and will next play the Evansville Purple Aces in Evansville this Saturday, March 18th.
The men's and women's track and field headed off to the indoor MVC Championships in Cedar Falls, Iowa on February 25th and 26th. On day 1, junior Paulina Gall placed second in the women's shot put, while junior Kiara Washburn placed third overall in the women's long jump with 6.11 meters. Freshman Eric Byrne placed fourth in the men's long jump. For the MVC Championship final, sophomore Kevin White took home the men's 800-meter league title. Highlights from the last day include junior Casey Block, who finished strong, placing third overall in long distance. Junior Alex Baker had an incredible finish in the 3,000 meter, placing second. Both the Rambler men and women finished the conference, placing 8th in the team standings. Just yesterday, junior Steven Hubana was named one of the top 10 winter sport athletes to receive the Missouri Valley Conference State Farm Good Neighbor Award. This is Hubana's first time being recognized for this accolade. He also currently ranks in the top 10 on Loyola's all-time indoor record in both weight throw and shot put. The young group of athletes have wrapped up the indoor portion, and it's scheduled, and it will be coming back for the outdoor season at the Invitational Stan Lyons Invitational on March 18th in Indianapolis.
Men's golf opened their spring season this past weekend at the Bradley Invitational in Dallas, Texas. The Ramblers finished in 4th place out of the 6 teams that competed and saw impressive performances from freshmen Nick Bonema and Justin LaFrance. Bonema finished in 8th overall after recording a season-low 13 over par 223. LaFrance also recorded his season-low of 19 over 230 and claimed 15th place overall as a result. The Invitational was ultimately won by host Bradley University. The Ramblers will compete next at the Twin Oaks Invitational in Springfield, Missouri on March 20th and 21st.
The women's golf team also kicked off their spring season at the Edwin Watts Intercollegiate in Kiowa Island, South Carolina on February 26th through the 28th. Sophomore Elena Bowser led the team at the Edwin Watts Intercollegiate. Bowser recorded a 9 over par 225, including a career best 1 over 73 to tie for 47th place. Junior Jessie Stage shook off a rough first 2 rounds to fire a career low 1 under 71 on the final day. Despite finishing in the top 3 in the final round, as a team, Loyola finished tied for 37th place out of the 43 teams. Loyola will continue its spring season when they travel to Carbondale, Illinois for the Saluki Invitational on March 26th through the 27th.
The men's soccer team doesn't kick off their spring season until Saturday, but Rambler Ryan Howe is already making headlines. Howe, a recent graduate of the men's soccer team, signed a professional contract with St. Louis FC of the United Soccer League. Howe started in all 18 games he played for the Ramblers during the 2016 season and was a major contributor towards the first Missouri Valley Conference title and their first win in NCAA tournament play in program history.
Many NFL teams have begun trading players and signing free agents to allow for the best roster for the 2017-2018 season.
Dylan Conover and his Ramble analysts discussed the Bears signing quarterback Mike Glennon in this week's Ramble.
Hi, welcome to this week's Ramble. I am Dylan Conover, and I'm joined this week by Tim and Nick. Guys, we're discussing NFL free agency, specifically the Bears. They signed Mike Glennon to a 3-year, $45 million contract, and the question I have for you guys, was it a good signing? I'll start with you, Tim.
Listen, Dylan, the Bears stink. The problem goes so much deeper than the quarterback position, and that's why Mike Glennon has been a great pickup for a placeholder position. The first 2 years are guaranteed only. He's a great quarterback to pick, develop the team, draft a defense around him.
Nick, what about you?
Okay, this is coming from a Patriots fan who's been spoiled by Tom Brady for however long. The Bears stink, yes. However, you're paying $45 million, 19 of which is guaranteed, for a guy who's thrown 11 passes in the last 2 years, and they all came.
Now, Nick, yeah, it is a fair point. He hasn't started since 2014, but his salary, I think, is the 22nd ranked out of all the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So, I mean, $15 million might look like a lot, but it's.
But that's a good point.
That's
a good point to go back to.
I think that's too much, because I can name off 5 quarterbacks right now who you could have gotten less for the
Jay
transition.
Cutler? No.
No, Jay Cutler was the problem. No, let me finish my
point.
point. It's my time to talk here. Give me my 5. I got 5 quarterbacks.
You had 60 million.
Let him finish.
I got 5 quarterbacks. You can get Bryant Hoyer. Keep Bryant Hoyer. You could have got Matt Barkley. The draft, Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Kaiser, or Mitch Trubisky, all of which could have been signed for less than Mike Glennon. If you want to transition,
it goes deeper than quarterback. Like I said, you gotta pick a defensive player. You gotta get Jonathan Allen, someone you could build a defense around for 10 seasons, and it goes so much deeper. John Fox, he's a defensive coach. You got to build it around him. Get a placeholder.
If you want the defensive player, you're paying too much for
of the team. You're talking about how to improve the team long term, but we're talking about 2-year, 3-year gap quarterbacks, guys. So you say it is a good signing, but why not just keep Barkley, like he's saying? If you're just looking for a bridge guy, what's the point?
You had money to spend. You had to spend the money anyways. You got to spend $40 million of the $20 million of the $60 million you had. You might as well spend it on a placeholder like Mike Glennon that can actually help you win some games, not like Matt Barkley.
So do you think the Bears are trying to win games?
Build a winning culture, and then next year, when there's a quarterback, you can pick him and develop him.
Is Glennon a guy who's going to give you a winning culture? He hasn't started in 3 years.
He's going to build something better than Matt Barkley. You're not going to win 3 games. You're going to win more than 3 games.
The 49ers thought Barkley had something. They gave him the job.
You got to start building something, though. No, they gave Brian Hoyer the job too. They don't even know.
I think you're telling me you've got this money to spend. I need to spend all of it. No,
you're not spending all of it. You're spending $40 million of the $60 million.
You save some of that money. You can buy the.
I want to see if you guys are in agreement over this. Are the Bears trying to win games next year?
I think they're trying to win 5 or 6, get a decent draft position. So now you can look. You have tons of assets. You have a stud like Jonathan Allen to build your defense around. And you can go forward with these assets and these resources to go find a quarterback and develop him under Mike Glennon and then pass it off to him. And you can cut Mike Glennon because only the first year and a half is guaranteed.
That's fair. And then, Nick, I guess my last question for you then, because you're saying there are other bridge quarterbacks they could have signed other than this untested Glennon. But you mentioned a couple of guys, Kaiser, Trubisky from the draft. I guess my question then, are those quarterbacks, are you sold on them as long-term answers? Because it seems kind of pointless to waste a first-round pick on a quarterback that you're not even sold on.
I like that you asked that, because you can get your bridge quarterback, make them the backup, and groom them into.
But who would they back up?
Brian Hoyer.
Well, but the contracts are comparable. So what's the point? Like, why would you not just keep Glennon if they're the same essentially on terms of cap space?
I'm saying before you sign Glennon, you bring back Hoyer for less money, then you draft the quarterback. You've got Hoyer starting. You can groom Deshaun Kaiser, Mitch Trubisky into an NFL quarterback. You don't sign Hoyer long term.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, they're not really going to be going for a Super Bowl next year. I think it's unrealistic. So I'm actually going to have to go with Nick on this one. I think it is kind of a dumb signing, not maybe in and of itself, but the fact that John Fox really liked Brian Hoyer, it didn't make sense to me why they would let him go. They might be comparable in terms of skill set, but it just doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm going to have to go with Nick on this one. Great arguments from both, and it was good banter, so I enjoyed it. But unfortunately, Tim, we're going to have to give it to Nick this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Dylan. I don't know how Glennon's going to do this season, but I'm pretty sure there's no way he could be worse than Cutler.
I agree with you, Haley. For our full episodes and the chance to get in on the conversation, follow and like our social media handles for an up-to-date look at all things Rambler Sports.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Haley Spittler.
And I'm Patricia Martinez. Check back next week for another episode of the Rambler Sports Locker.
And as always, don't forget to turn out the lights.